Hi friends, I feel inspired again to share with you some of my reflections. I call them the transpersonal reflections because this is part of the Canal MTK, my transpersonal core, my transpersonale care. So today we are the 7th of November. We're already way into fall, and it's beautiful, and it's even a sunny day today. So what I wanted to share is some deeper reflections about the self, what we feel like being ourselves. So some days ago I felt inspired to scan myself, to really, go a bit deeper into connecting with what I call my inner self. So as I sat in stillness, I began really sensing myself, the real me. Not just the body, but the spirit that moves within me. So I started scanning what I could call my meat suit. That's water and meat, and my emotional suit, because we have many different layers. We have this physical body, an emotional body, and an etheric body. If you look up that word in some esoteric books, you will have lots of information about all that. So the whole human vehicle, I was sensing my whole human vehicle that I'm traveling in. I'm actually traveling it. I'm going from one point to another with all the different seasons of life. So I could feel sensations, tensions, memories, little clusters of emotions, and stories, so many stories that make up the texture of me being human. And I just looked at them with curiosity. Curiosity is a great thing. If you're really curious and open, and you're not curious and you expect what you're curious about. I was not expecting anything, not judging, not fixing, just noticing. Oh, there's that, and oh yeah, that, interesting. So I suddenly saw an image that was like being a diver inside one of those heavy, deep sea suits, like they had also in the old age when they were diving from the boats, really big cloches or whatever, really big stuff. And these heavy, deep sea suits are made to withstand incredible pressure, and actually that's what incarnation feels like, this heavy, it's a lot of gravity. We conscious beings descend into this dense field of matter, and we put on the suit, this human physical body that is well adapted to it. And, even if it's well adapted to it, it feels kind of heavy sometimes. Gravity pulls on us, lift your arm, and even lifting it, it takes a little effort. The weight, it has some weight. And if you let it go, it falls towards the earth. Even our thoughts and emotions have gravity. That's a different gravity. They pull on us too. So inside this dense field are countless impressions, hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of memories, people, experiences, joys, traumas, judgments, ecstasies and desires, and so on. It's an astonishing package. All of it is stored in what feels like a vast memory bank, a living machine made of energy, emotion and thought. And I realized it's almost like the training data of an AI. Nowadays we talk so much about AI systems, and we become aware of what it entails to have this kind of machine suddenly, behaving, reacting like some intelligent being, and the way they do it, they're training the systems on real data. It's what we are. It's almost like this training data on an AI system. Yeah, yeah. Wow. We too are shaped by we could call it algorithm. Patterns of reaction and learned responses build up over lifetimes. Okay, this lifetime is already a lot, but if you consider that you might have more than one lifetime, then it's really much. This human personality, what I call me, is the result of those patterns interacting. So, in my reflections, I wondered, if I start to disidentify from all that, if I gently take off the suit, scary, what remains? What remains? Something does. There's still an I, if you really, really go inside and just, try and leave out everything. It's not so easy, but arrive to a place where it gets really quiet, where you only feel your own presence. There's still an I, but it's on a totally different level. Much quieter, much, vaster. It's a vaster awareness that is not so limited by beliefs and by stories and by, whatever, our own psyche. It's a vaster awareness that simply is. And that one wasn't born when the body was born. I'm saying that. I don't have a proof to say that. No, it's a big statement. But that one wasn't born when the body was born. It existed before, and it's here now, watching, curious, awake. It's awake. That awareness asks, right now that awareness asks, if I'm not this body, if I'm not these emotions or these stories, these traumas, these endless things I'm identifying with, then who or what am I? So this question reminds me of a famous book called I Am That. And it's a very famous, very powerful Advaita non-dual master called Nisargadatta Maharaj. It was a simple tobacco seller in India, and he was amazing, and he's drawn lots of people that visited him and that got really inspired. And he was talking about that, and he was saying, I am that. And there are some talks and some information about him that is very interesting. So I am that, and I never read this book, but just that title holds quite a lot of power, because it's a way to say it. I am that, but what is that? At the deepest level, beyond the layers, beyond the algorithm and thoughts and memory, we realize, I am that, I am even, and there's no name there, there's no gender, there's no nationality, there's not even a species there, there's not even a planet there. It's like I am even beyond saying that I am. I am pure consciousness, quietly observing, gently animating the human journey, learning through every experience, living and loving through every imperfection. We're here to experience. So maybe this whole human design with its programs and patterns is not a trap. Sometimes it feels like, well, what have I got myself into? And but it looks like it's a training field, a place for awareness. This awareness, this deepest I that we are, for this soul, however you call it, chose to come here and learn how to see itself, even through this immense density we're in, even through the forgetting. And I think, we talked about that before. I think that was part of the contract. If we had any contract, it was like, you're going to forget. You're going to not remember anything about who you really are. And the game is the game, or whatever it is to learn and be completely lost, and maybe on the journey remember. And when you remember, it's not even that will finish the journey, because remembering is one thing, and another thing is implementing what you remember. Is if you have lots of insights and enlightenment, there is a totally new chapter around integrating that in daily life and being a human being while you have that insight, while you have that liberation inside. So when we begin to remember, even for a moment, the whole suit, at that moment the whole suit becomes lighter. Yeah, okay. The diver inside might smile. Yeah, I'm aware of being in this suit, and I'm aware that if I take off this suit, I will experience my true being, my true nature. And then we say, oh yeah, all right, I'm the one inside. I've always been. Yeah, and so what do we do with that? Is that the end of the story? No, I guess not. It's not the end of the story. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of a new chapter. It's the beginning of being a human, an enlightened human being. And what does that mean? You still have a body. You still have bodily needs. You still, in some traditions, you say, chopping wood, carrying water, and then comes enlightenment. And after enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. You still have to chop wood and carry water. You still have people that are more or less nice to you, and there's this whole thing about the law of attraction, that something, if inside you're free, and if inside you everything is clear, and you don't have any hooks, you don't have any traumas, any stupid beliefs, maybe you don't attract as much negativity and as much so-called shit than before. Maybe life will be easier, and I'm saying maybe to keep it open, and I'm quite sure it is like that. I have seen in myself, I'm not saying I'm enlightened, but I have lightened my big, baggage that I was carrying all the time in my bag. I have lightened it quite tremendously. And the journey feels so much more joyful and so much more satisfying, because you start being yourself, and you stop worrying about how you come across to others, and how people believe anything about you, or you don't feel like you need to prove so much. You just do what you enjoy doing, like what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying actually doing these little videos. I don't know how you're going to pick it up from me, and of course I care, but I don't have any anxiety about it. I just do what my heart feels like doing. And on that journey, I come across so many things that I didn't know before. There are intuitions, there are inspirations. There's so much I can discover about myself. And yeah, and that's exciting. And that's it. I don't want to say so much more, you know. Yeah, so be yourself, have fun, and be gentle, and be kind to each other. Have compassion with yourself and others, and be curious about life, and yeah, try not to think in boxes, but try and think out of the boxes. Be free about all the belief systems that you have picked up, because it's just belief system, it's just programs. So the real thing is about disidentifying and maybe not identifying, maybe re-being who you really are, re-being the true being, and re-expressing and sensing your own true nature. What is your true nature? Yeah, lots of good questions, you know. Good luck on the journey of discovery. Okay, thank you very much.